America is often referred to as the land of the free. However, it is important to note that there are certain limitations on how much freedom we can enjoy. Did you know that you can be restricted from buying certain things with your own money due to laws in place? While laws exist to protect us from violence, theft, and harm against others, there are also laws that restrict what you can purchase. While some of these things don't necessarily cause any harm, there are a few that cause more harm than good. This video will show you 10 great items you won't be able to purchase in the US. Number 10. Haitian animal hide drums. You're not going to believe this. Next one. Haitian animal hide drums aren't banned due to using animal products for production. In fact, they're banned because of the potential harm that can cause to humans. The reason for this is animal hides from places like Haiti have been found to contain the infectious disease called anthrax. You may have heard this bacterium being used for intentional poisoning as a means of biological warfare, but it often infects cows and other livestock, especially in countries like Haiti, where there aren't strict controls to prevent such infections. While the risk of actually developing a reaction to anthrax from animal hide is extremely uncommon, there have been unfortunate souls who have gotten sick in the US from dealing with these drums. One of the first cases of an American getting sick from anthrax and animal-bite drums dates back in 1974 from a goat hide bongo. This bongo drum was purchased in the country of Haiti, where the toxic bacterium spores are quite common. Not every animal hide reeks of anthrax, though, and there are plenty of hides that are considered healthy that you can handle with ease. If they were made in the United States or countries other than Haiti, you can bet that you won't be dealing with anthrax. Number 9. Cheese. I'm not talking about all types of cheese, but there are certain kinds that have been banned. Due to their manufacturing methods, while these types of cheese are typically great to eat, the USA's important restrictions aren't so nice to some of the country's favorite cheeses. The FDA doesn't allow the importing of unpasteurized cheese as it seems to pose a health risk. However, we're all adults here for the most part and can make a consumption decision ourselves, can't we? After all, who can pass up brie cheese? Any cheese that's manufactured and created with raw milk is considered a threat to humans in America, leaving them on the unfortunate banned import list. However, you're free to make your own at home, but I don't suggest it if you live with a cop. Other types of cheese that are banned in the United States include Casu Marzu, Reblochum, Loire Valley raw goats, milk cheese, Camembert de Normandy, Mimolette, and Epoisses. Number 8. Black currants. The banning of black currants had nothing to do with humans. So why ban them? According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the fruit posed a large threat towards other species of trees because they became a great transmitter for a disease that threatened to annihilate all pines in America. In fact, there was such a threat, they could supposedly annihilate the species and rid them from the country, while primarily meant to keep the logging industry safe at the time of the law's conception. Some states are finding that the law is a bit ridiculous and leaving it up to local jurisdiction. The ban has now been lifted in some states since science has found alternative ways to fight these diseases and keep pine safe while coexisting with the black currants. Since the fruit isn't too common in our pantries, most wonder what it tastes like. The flavor can be quite tart, but a dash of brown sugar can help alleviate its strong taste. Number 7. Cuban cigars. Chances are if you live in Florida or have ever watched a movie about older men smoking and being gangster, you've heard of a Cuban cigar. Even though they're arguably the most popular type of cigar, they're actually banned in the United States. While the legal status of them has gone back and forth, selling them in the United States is currently illegal, although you're allowed to consume them here. So why are Cuban cigars banned? It all goes back to February of 1962, when President John F. Kennedy issued a trade embargo against, in which he attempted to sanction the regime of Fidel Castro due to his communist characteristics. The United States and Fidel Castro were at war, and the U.S. even attempted to poison Castro with one of the cigars. While there has been speculation on the perpetrator behind the assassination of John F. Kennedy, That seems a bit too grim to dive into here. Since Castro's death, there has been movement to have the embargo, and while numerous changes have been made, you still can't buy or sell the cigars in the United States. However, if you ever find yourself one, you're allowed to smoke it legally. Number 6. 4 Loko Original Formula. While 4 Loko may be back in some form, the original formula for the popular alcoholic beverage was so brutal, it caused quite a few people to die. Two college graduates by the name of Jeff Wright and Jason Freeman made the original concoction by using energy drinks from an Asian market local to them. This wasn't the only ingredient, though, as they claimed they even used ingredients like wormwood, a psychoactive ingredient from absinthe, which is an extremely strong spirit. Even though they got their resources locally, they told others that the ingredients were imported. And the drink continued to rise in popularity until being banned in 2010. The Oregon Liquid Control Commission had an emergency meeting in which only one person voted for the drink, leaving the ban to become effective immediately. After the initial ban, the main cause for concern about the drink revolved around its high caffeine content, which, along with its alcoholic content, made it unsafe for people to consume in large quantities. Now, the post-ban drink still includes the original harsh ingredients, but without caffeine, taurine, and guarana. Even though it's still a kicker of a drink, it hasn't gotten nearly as much attention as the original formula did, probably because it doesn't hype people up as much anymore. Number 5. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. You might scratch your head at this one, considering many of you probably play this video game. Initially rated mature, only one version of the game was formally outlawed due to it being found to have a minigame that had to do with sex, leading the game to be pulled and re-rated to adults only because of this rating. There was a de facto ban on this version of the game, which allowed some to still purchase. But it meant that those who the game had been marketed towards couldn't buy it. While just about anyone can buy this game on Steam or on their consoles, it still has the rating from Rockstar Games, but still remains one of the most popular video games on the market. Grand Theft Auto has also caused quite the controversy in a number of other countries, including Japan, Malaysia, South Korea, and even Thailand. The entirety of the series was banned in Thailand in the summer of 2000 due to a real-life murder. Number 4. Fugu Fish. Japan is known for their welding crazy minds, but also the delicacies that come out of the country. One of these crazy foods includes fugu fish, a delicacy that can actually kill you if not prepared correctly. Apparently, it is quite tasty, having a very subtle taste and a very slight chewy consistency, dubbed more poisonous than cyanide. The delicacy is a blowfish that even has restrictions in its country of origin. No matter what country you're in, though, it's illegal to prepare or serve this delicacy unless you are highly trained. One wrong move and the poison will kill you. While the intestines and the liver of this fish are the most dangerous areas, the most lethal part of the blowfish are its ovaries. More than 21 people have died from eating an improperly prepared version of this delicacy since 2000, and some have been hospitalized for just being exposed to trace amounts on their dishes, while some people live on the edge with what they eat. I think I'll pass on this steak. Number 3. Books printed before 1985. Banning books. While the act is common in younger schools and racy literature, the ban on books dating before 1985 isn't because of what you think. The act of banning books printed before this time is largely due to the use of lead within the ink used to produce these books, thereby attempting to protect today's children. Even though this ban has been quite secret, it was initiated under a law that Congress had passed 10 years ago. It wasn't everyone who wanted the ban, though, as the American Library Association applauded for Congress to alter the implications. However, it was fallen on deaf ears, and unfortunately, a reform was refused. A librarian that was asked about the ban stated that more than 3/4 of the books that had a home in her library predated 1985. The law has cost publishers millions of dollars, especially those that have had to reprint old classics and necessary literature for schools and libraries around the country, even though the ban may seem justified. How many kids do you know that got sick from reading a book? Maybe we can use that as an excuse as to why we all hated reading in elementary and middle school. Number 2. Kinder Eggs. There have been a ton of commercials commemorating the release of Kinder Surprise eggs, but they weren't the ones originally filled with flavor and nostalgia. The pre-banned Kinder eggs contained small toys inside that were deemed a choking hazard in the United States. While the chocolate egg could be split in half to remove the toy, unfortunately some weren't as observant. After the ban was lifted, Kinder eggs rebranded as Kinder Joy and now come with a surprise on the side and will require assembly. It seems like a heck of a lot of work to avoid being careful. Number 1. Sand Racer 500 GT. You may like to own this two-seater rear-wheel drive, mid-engine supercar, but it might be illegal. A serious addition to the world's life of dune runners. This beast comes equipped with a Corvette engine, but a body made for off-roading. You might be thinking to yourself, how can a car be illegal? Well, it all comes down to a country's regulations, which dictate whether a car is road legal or not. While technically not yet illegal, the Sand Racer 500 GT may have trouble gaining street legal status in the US because it's more akin to an off-road vehicle, which may not be suited for the roads. It's also unlikely that its unique structure would be accepted for street legal status by the authorities. But that shouldn't concern you much because the truth is that the vehicle isn't technically available yet. It is set to start being sold in the Middle East and Europe. And while they have plans to export this good-looking vehicle to the US, nothing is guaranteed. Oh yeah, and it's not cheap. You'll need almost $500,000 to buy one. Have you ever used any of the contraband on this list? Or are you annoyed that they're banned? Let me know in the comments down below, and thanks for watching.